It's the Dad the Rock After Show. Now, here's Chris and Shaun.
Welcome back to the Dad and the Rock After Show. This is Shaun.
And this is Chris.
And tonight we are talking about Star Wars, The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2, a brand new show on Disney+. It's Star Wars, baby.
Oh, yeah. I completely brain farted. I don't know what's going on.
We're live.
Oh, boy. We're a little rusty. It's been a minute since we've actually done an after show. So this is
I know. We've been doing old movie reviews with our kids.
Yeah,
and,
so
all kinds
bear
of fun
with us
stuff.
a little bit here. Yeah, we do these after shows on shows that we really enjoy doing. June is a packed month, so we're just going to go with our old faithful Star Wars here. Unfortunately, I left a few things out there, but you know what? If you like Star Wars and you like talking Star Wars, join us here because we're going to give you, what we honestly think about it, what we like about it, what we disliked about it.
Yep. We're going to crap on this show for 8 weeks, so join us.
Yeah, and we're interactive. So if you're here with us live, let us know your thoughts as well because we will bring them up. We'll discuss what you guys think. And if you're watching recorded, I will respond to your comments as well. Good, bad, or ugly. Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you taking the time leaving a comment. So
that's right. More hate the merrier. Anyway, Star Wars, The Acolyte. Okay.
So I know the High Republic era. I've been reading the books. I'm one behind right now before I'm current. So there are characters in this that I know.
You know it.
For instance, like the mother hasn't showed up yet. She's in the poster. She's actually in the credits. We know there's gonna be flashbacks.
Yep.
So I know some of this stuff. I hope that they're going to go ahead and connect some things that I'm looking forward to. So since I know a little bit, I want to get your opinion on these, just broad opinion on these first 2 episodes and what you thought.
Okay, so I don't have a problem with the era. I don't have a problem with the looks and the feel, and I think it's cool that we're in this time frame. And I think it's cool seeing the Jedi learn a little bit of difference about their, how they were like stationed at different planets and they wore different robes depending on kind of like where they're at and that kind of thing. Like, seeing different Jedi was pretty cool. I think so far though the story is a little boring. Story's a little bit boring, and the old evil twin switcheroo thing is just not what I don't know what I expected, but so far I'm a little underwhelmed with the actual plot.
Okay. What'd you think about the Jedi? Like, we don't see Jedi just fall very often.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen in Order 66, but outside of that, we really never seen outside of Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan gave himself up. So I'm kind of taking Obi-Wan out of the equation here. Qui-Gon actually went down in battle. The rest of the Jedi we've seen were all, turned on by the clone troopers, and they really didn't have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
What did you think of seeing the what was her name?
Carrie-Anne Moss?
Yeah, Master Indira.
Yeah.
Yeah, Master Indira went ahead and she was in the first like 10 minutes and she died. And then when Master Torben also died as well. In these first 2 episodes. So we've seen now 2 Jedi die pretty quickly. And that could be, I think that's jarring to people that haven't seen that type of thing in Star Wars.
It was weird. Yeah. Especially so this show pulled the kind of the Game of Thrones switcheroo where you've got kind of a big name actor and they're killed. Well, Sean Bean was killed the first season, but like they're killed the first episode. Oh, what do you call it? An Invasion did that. Remember Sam Neill was an Invasion?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the first episode. That was,
Yeah.
We have
And
many
he died
issues
the
with
first
that
episode.
show.
Although I think we're getting more of Carrie-Anne Moss in flashback. But to see her character die off the first episode, that was pretty. The fight leading up to her death was pretty cool. And as far as the other, was it Torben, the other Jedi?
Yeah.
I just could not get over how young that guy was, but also like he was balding, and they tried to age up like a young actor because he's going to be like in a flashback, I guess. So they hired a younger actor.
That was a little odd. Yeah,
that took me out. Like it looked so strange. So every time I was just looking at his face the whole time. I was like, what's not adding up here? It's kind of like me with my boyish good looks and my receding hairline.
Yeah, no,
I
my
look like
beard
my
is kind
twin.
of a little more manly. No.
Yeah. But as far as the deaths, you're right. It was a little jarring. Well, I mean, the first one was very subtle. Like she got and you knew as soon as the acolyte, I guess. Do we have a character named May? We
May,
didn't
yeah.
know it at the time, but it's
No,
May.
it was May and Osha. Those 2 characters at
Right.
that point were the same character for us.
Yeah. OSHA violation. May, as soon as May started to like endanger the patrons and use that against the Jedi, which is a pretty effective tool,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this warrior is talented enough to take advantage of that and use that. Then
And
Carrie Ann Moss is
as
going
soon as she
down.
did it, yeah. As soon as she did it, all of a sudden, knife to the chest,
Yeah.
and that was pretty much it. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna give you my first thought
Let's
after
hear it.
the 2 episodes were over.
Yes.
I didn't have an issue with the story because I'm
Mhm.
conditioned for this timeline. For this type of storytelling. It's been similar throughout the books. The pacing for me felt a little off. It felt slow at times. I can absolutely see what you meant by it being boring at times
Yeah.
because I like giving things time to breathe, but it's almost like
Mhm.
there's too much time. And I think that's possible as well. And I feel like that was kind of done in the first episode. The second episode, the pacing picked up a little bit more. We've seen more things kind of happening. But with the twin thing, yeah. Now, I would have preferred it almost if she didn't realize what she was
Mhm.
doing. If she was
Yes.
almost being pulled and it was like a different persona of
Yes.
her.
That's what I was thinking. You and I were on the same page because about halfway through, I was thinking, she's sounding really genuine. She's either an excellent liar, which is possible. She's, Sith or whatever, or she is like going through some kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing where
Yeah.
she doesn't even know what she's doing. Like she's having some kind of like force altered personality or something. Which I was kind of on board with. I was like, that could be like a cool storyline
Yeah.
to go
So
through.
that was my first thought. But the further we going along, when and Yord shows up and they're on the Trade Federation ship, which was fun seeing the Trade Federation again. I mean, little
Yeah, the
nugget back
Nemoidians.
to yeah.
Yeah.
But you think about it for a second, it's like, okay, there's no way she's in the middle of nowhere. How would she get to where that took place and get back? You know what I mean? So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
how they gonna pull this off? And when they had the barkeep who was left to live, because I mean, I guess there's a little bit of humanity still in May
Yeah.
because she's seen the kid and she decided to let him live,
Right.
which we don't see in dark side users very often. Which was okay, so she's not completely there because she
Right.
would have cleaned her mess up and then left.
Yeah.
So the switcheroo, I was not 100% behind. Uh, I don't mind it now, knowing that there's going to be flashbacks to the mother. I've already referenced her. The mother.
Yeah.
There's going to be references to the path of the open hand. You guys are going to have to bear with me. I know there's so many things that
I'm gonna have to bear with you because I
yeah,
don't even know what you're talking about this time around.
there is a whole cult called the Path of the Open Hand. And at the end of the book Convergence, they almost changed their name to the Path of the Closed Fist. Basically, they're saying the Force is free, and they have issues
Mm.
with the Jedi because the Jedi, they in their mind, manipulate the Force for their own good.
I see.
And so they have issues with basically any Force user. So if it's Sith, if it's Jedi, they don't like that.
Yeah.
It's a cult. The mother is controlling them. Come to find
Do
out,
they
she
use
is.
the Force themselves, though? Are they
They
hypocrites?
haven't relieved it in I haven't gotten to the part in the book yet where it says it, but
Yeah.
I kind of reading through Wikipedia. The mother is slightly force sensitive as well. The Jedi
Mm,
turned her away, took her sister instead, and she's had a
mm,
vendetta against the Jedi ever since then.
I see. Down
So
with
that's
Jedi.
kind of the quick backstory of the mother. But back to like when I was asking you about like was when Jedi dying, is that
Yeah.
jarring?
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit.
You know how jarring it was for me? Because if you go into these books, not the show, by the time we hit the show, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
George Lucas made the Jedi essentially godlike figures.
Mhm.
until we see, because even when Obi-Wan died, I'm gonna be stronger if you strike me down. He
Yeah.
was stronger than he
Like, he
was.
kinda died, not really. He
Yeah,
just came back blue and yeah, ghost form.
exactly. If you go to when Qui-Gon dies, okay, that's the first time we see that. And then
Right.
even with him, we find out that he learned the living force. So then he is, communicating with Yoda later down the road. It's through a bunch of different stuff. It's not in the movies.
Yeah. Right.
So
Besides one piece of dialogue.
yeah. So in the books, the Jedi aren't infallible.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can there is about a dozen Jedi that I have started enjoying that have died, either in battle or in creatures that I hope to God they use because they're using the mother.
Yeah.
And the mother calls them the leveler, or what Yoda's failing. Yoda's in this, and Yoda failed again. They're called the nameless. And what they
Yeah.
do is they feed on force users. And it turns their bodies into a husk and then dust, and it's gone. So if
That
this
sounds real
leveler
cool.
if
I
this
don't know if
yeah,
we'll see it in this show.
if this leveler creature is within range of them, the
Yeah.
Jedi are completely incapacitated. They can't even stand up. It just sucks everything out.
Uh,
So,
one one thing that kinda came to mind as far as this show that I was thinking about, and maybe I had an issue with too, after the first 2 episodes, I think the first 2 episodes, if it was in a novel and it was in this form, I think it would have been maybe more impactful, because you wouldn't have I think those reveals would have played better, and as far as just, like, throwing us in the mix immediately, not knowing who a single character is, what their backstory is. Like, in 2 episodes, we're like we dive headfirst into the mystery, headfirst into the plot without knowing
yeah.
anybody on the table, without knowing their backstories, who they are. We're learning names, we're learning faces, we're learning they're trying to give their own backstories through awkward dialogue. But I think like you said, the pacing, if we would have spent an episode learning about these characters a little bit, and then maybe the end of episode 1, we see who we think is Osha. Maybe we spend a lot of time with Osha in the first episode, and then we see her randomly in badass clothes walk into a bar and then kill a Jedi. We'd be totally like, "What? What just happened?"
Yeah.
Then we'd be, like, invested, like, "Whoa." If we actually thought that the person we spent all that time with is also that, and then maybe episode 2 have a reveal where, "Oh, no, she actually has a sister," and I think that would have drawn me in more. The first 2 episodes, the way they're paced and played out, I wasn't as invested because the whole time I was just like, "Okay, like, who's this now, and what are we doing, and, okay, who's their relationship to that?" Like, it's so I'm trying to figure things out while, I think that's just a dangerous game to play, to,
Yeah.
like, try to learn new characters and be thrust into the plot so quickly.
And that's, I mean, it's a product of their own doing. If they're only gonna make, what, 8 of these episodes and they gave us 2 right out the gate,
Yeah.
them shortening the episode count and not even making it 10 forced their hand if they wanna play the flashback game, because that's what they're gonna play. They're gonna I'm not sure when we're gonna stop current time. I don't know if it's gonna be the next episode and we're gonna go backwards, because there's a lot we gotta learn about what happened on her home planet of Bendoc.
Yeah.
So what happened? Why did her sister start this fire? Why do they think we're led to think that her sister started this fire to kill her family? I don't
Mhm.
think her sister did. I
Yeah.
think whoever's pulling the actual strings, whoever this character is, which
She didn't start the fire.
uh, did it to
Yeah,
go
was it
ahead
a
and
Jedi?
no,
Was it that green-skinned Jedi bald lady?
yeah, yeah, right.
Was it?
I no,
Oh,
They're
one thing here, one thing I like, I know as I'm thinking of stuff, I wanna bring it up.
yeah,
One thing I did like with these Jedi is that I feel like the young dude with the kind of the dreads on top, the young Jedi who's
Yord,
a knight and he's very like he was like steaming his robes and stuff.
yeah,
The way he did a Jedi mind trick so callously to the Nemoidians and
hmm
stuff, it felt a little like, that's a little off. Like Obi-Wan pulled that out, of course,
hmm
but he did it to stormtroopers and he did it very basically just to, like, get past them. You know what I mean?
yes,
Not to, like, but he wasn't, like, manipulating them in a way for them to do something or do something that they wouldn't wanna do. I don't know. It maybe I'm just have a bias against, when Alec
And
Guinness
that's
does it.
something since you didn't know anything about High Republic again. And like I said, this is a show, it's not gonna do well, I don't think, unless they speed it up quickly,
Yeah.
because they are tailoring themselves once again, which we're finding out a lot of these shows are, to small sects of fans. And I
Yeah.
am one of those fans because the the Jedi in the High Republic, a lot of those Jedi, and some of them are brash. Some of them will
Mhm.
do their own thing, will fall in line, and do what the council and everyone says, but they will question things, almost like a Qui-Gon. They will
Yeah.
push it and push it and push it and push it, and that's kind of the character they went ahead and gave Yort, the young Jedi Knight you're talking about.
Yeah,
But
and I'm
also,
not saying that as far as, like, that is kind of a critique on him as far as, like, he's being kind of callous, but I'm actually saying that I like that there are different Jedi who are kind of, like, real playing fast and loose with their
with the rules,
morality, and
yeah,
you know what I mean? It feels like they're an establishment that's been around so long. There's variations on how dogmatic some are versus how loosey-goosey some are,
mhm,
versus, like, some may be stepping on the dark side and not even realize what the heck the dark side is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they just call themselves a Jedi, but they really don't have an understanding of what they're
because
dipping
it's
into.
been what, 1,000 years, I think they said, since the Sith have been in
Right.
the light.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I actually put something in an article, like, I think it may have been Nerdist. And I was like, you know what? I feel it's lazy for them to automatically consider this guy a Sith,
Mm.
because there are dark side users within the High Republic that aren't Sith. They're just not. And they kill, like I said, they've killed many of Jedi, and they
Yeah.
have lightsabers. So I'm like, it's probably going to be something down those lines. And I hope it's a theory that I kind of shared with you, because
Yeah.
it will bring all the fans that are on the fence right into it. But we're
Yeah.
not going to know who it is until the end. So,
Oh,
but
what'd you think of that the opening text, the blue text to open up the episode 1, how it places us it says 100 years before the rise of the Empire, but technically that's the rise of the Empire wasn't until after episode 3.
episode 3.
So, we're more like, what, 83 years or, like, 80 years before
Yeah. So
The
what
Phantom
would
Menace.
fall in line with a theory that I'm no, I'm just going to bring the theory up.
Yeah, bring it up.
Uh my theory is, and I could be way off base, the dark side user, or we'll say Sith. I even said it's lazy, but I even had the same thought before I read articles. But it's Darth Plagueis,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it's him trying to get obtain a Padawan, or
Like
Padawan's the wrong
yeah,
word, but
an apprentice.
apprentice. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she's one of the first he tries to get, and fails. Something happens and it fails. It doesn't go through. She either turns back, or she dies, or something. She doesn't kill Jedi without any weapons. And and maybe he finds out she killed one with the
Yeah.
poison, and she disobeyed him.
Right, right, right,
And
right.
then we see Naboo, and we see a young Palpatine, a
Oh, well,
young
how old do you think Palpatine is by the time the Phantom Menace rolls around? Because he looks
uh,
like a guy in his
he's in his
mid-50s maybe.
40, late 40s, 50s, yeah. So I think, and when age-wise,
We'd have to
yeah, I think,
scale, like, 30 years
yeah, oh,
from
I think it
now
would.
till then.
I think if we jump forward, since we're playing the flashback game, I
Oh, you
think
think it
they're
will go forward?
I think they're playing gonna play loosey goosey with the actual time.
Oh, okay.
And like when we get, because we're gonna the story they're making us think is about May and Osha.
Yeah.
The showrunners come out and said this show is not about the Jedi. So even with Master Soul, who was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, did you watch Squid Game?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he's good in that.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
looks he looks way older in this show. Maybe it's a
I
makeup thing or
I
something,
love
but
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love how he questions things. I love how when he questions it, then I was Venstra, I think her name is
His
Master Venstra
apprentice,
Rowe.
his Padawan,
No, no,
like,
no,
asking him
the green
about
one.
oh, yeah, 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 the
And
master,
I'm
yeah.
assuming she's on the council. I don't know that for certain, but
I would
she's like,
assume so too.
he's like, yeah, I support you, whatever you need. even though he questioned, he falls in line,
Right.
and there's gonna be something.
I liked when his Padawan, questioned him about being nostalgic towards, like, old relationships and
Oh,
stuff,
I loved that.
and he turned it around and he was like, "Well, we failed to
Memories
if
are
we don't learn from
lessons.
the
If you
past."
don't meditate
Yeah.
on the past, you're doomed to repeat it. I thought that was a fantastic
Which
line.
is also very that's kind of a Jedi. I think that falls in line with a Jedi concept, right? So I think he's very much like he doesn't you know what? I feel like he's the kind of Jedi that I would be, where it's like, yeah, I will follow this book to a point, and unless it like tells me to forget people that I care about, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, oh well, I'm still gonna care about him, then
Well,
I'll be a
even
Jedi.
when, Master Rowe or Ventress or whatever her name is, says, "Oh, I underestimated your attachment to her."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
"Okay, so what's really going down here?"
right. I do like the mystery. We're thrown into a few mysteries. We were thrown into the current present time mystery as far as to what's going on and the big baddie that's kind of over May and stuff currently, and that whole dynamic. But there's also the mystery of what happened when they were kids, and it
Yeah.
feels like something big. It feels like something big that was covered up, kind of a hush hush Jedi thing that they don't talk about. And
Yeah,
I
see
like that
that
too.
that's the thing that I kept on going back to because at the end of I watched it the first time through, and then I had to go back, I watched it a second time, and she kept on
Oh, I'm losing you.
city, or is Brendock a planet? Oh, you got me? It's like, okay, is Brendock
I
a city or is Brendock a planet?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because there's a planet called Dolna, and there was something that happened the Night of Sorrow, where it was like 6 Jedi and something, and it was the Path of the Open Hand, the Mother, big battle, a lot of people died, all that took place, and I was hoping those two things were connecting, and I can't make the connection. It looks like Brendock is a planet, not a city. So I'm like,
Okay.
okay, if the tragedy happened with that, that would have made me so happy because it
Right.
would have given us some more of that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure exactly if that's gonna be the case or not.
Uh, I how did you feel like, I know that you know about the High Republic stuff. These first 2 episodes, what did they do for you as far as a Star Wars TV show? We've had a few of them now. Yeah, is this a good start compared to the others, or
It's like I said, the only real issue I had with it was pacing.
yeah.
But outside of that, I it has me intrigued. Like, where are
Mhm.
they gonna go? Okay, so there's 4 more Jedi. We haven't even talked about Master, the Wookiee.
Yeah. Kanaka?
Uh, yeah, Master Kanaka.
Yeah.
Seeing him at the end. So Kanaka, so there's 2 that are still alive. Who are the 2 who are still alive? You have Kanaka and Soul.
Right.
So there was 4 total Jedi that she was going after, and she couldn't stand toe to toe with Soul when they fought, and basically she had to
Yeah.
pull a little ninja vanish move with the sand,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which was cool.
Yes.
But her,
I do like, not to interrupt you, I do like a formidable fighter against a Jedi that doesn't wield a lightsaber or even much weapons at all, as a matter of fact. Um it feels good because the Jedi were so untouchable in the era
Mhm.
of, the Clone Wars and stuff. I mean, they fought droids and you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like it was a piece of cake. And then for this to see, what if May had some vibroblades, or what if she herself, something that's not a lightsaber but still formidable enough to kill a Jedi. That's a
yeah.
kind of a big deal in itself that we haven't really seen much in actual, live action TV. So that was cool too.
Yeah, the hand to hand, how they slowed it down, how she tried to go for
Yeah,
his lightsaber, and he let her just get close enough, and he knew where she
right.
was the whole time. She couldn't stand toe to toe with him. If she pulled out a weapon, she would be cut down real quick.
She would have had a better chance. I mean, we did basically, it wasn't it the young guy, the young knight that kind of ended it because he was like on lookout. He was kind of a sniper duty,
Oh
and
yeah,
she
Yorda
was
was kind of watching. Then he jumped down. Then he had the Padawan
yeah,
kind of come over with the ship.
right. And then once she knew that she was outnumbered, she was like, she split, which is smart, right? You don't
Yeah,
get into it if you can't win the fight. Live to fight another day, kind of thing.
So yeah, that was all fun. I mean, that's pretty much the end of the whole deal. We had Master Torben. I mean, he took the poison, and he's been waiting I guess that 10 years. He knew she was
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was just waiting for it because whatever happened, he couldn't live with it.
Right.
So he was waiting for that for her to give him his out. So that's what went down.
Mhm.
And I think you may be onto something. That it may have been the disaster may have been caused inadvertently by the Jedi,
Yeah.
not May herself. And
Right.
then whoever this dark side user is took her in and knew because I think with Osha being force sensitive, typically a family member, if they're twins, a family member, I don't think it's a reach saying she was force sensitive as well. And
Yeah.
he's seen that and he went ahead and was training her. So
Here's what I'm hoping for Star Wars at large. So, the original trilogy, and really the prequels in the original trilogy, I want them to because, eventually we're gonna get more stories past the Rey Skywalker era, you know what I mean, in the
mm,
future, and we're kinda getting some stories in the High Republic era, so a lot of stuff before and after, like way before,
yeah.
way after. I want those original 6 movies to be kind of a fulcrum of, like, this is what the Jedi were, then Order 66, and then this is the return. It's kind of a new meaning of the Return of the Jedi, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
where Luke, Anakin, they're the ones to, like, bring balance to the Force, and even though Luke couldn't really do it himself in a way that he thought was constructive, he at least brought that idealism back so that Rey could pick up the mantle and maybe the Rey era Jedi can be something more to aspire to than the Jedi that are in the High Republic era, which are just kinda like space cops that are kinda loosey goosey about the rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe there's a better version of a Jedi, and we'll finally get that, and the 6 movies that we know and love as the original Star Wars movies will be the time period of where everything changed in the galaxy. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. I like the idea of them being that cornerstone.
Yeah,
Those six that we know, and then everything before, now, after. Um,
right.
I want more and more of this before this High Republic.
I
There
do
was been
too.
there's been a few books that have been a little. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest with you, a little lackluster, a little
Yeah,
hard to get through. But there's some villains in these books. Martian Rowe, the Eye, the Nile, uh, all of them are birthed out of the Path of the Open Hand with the
yeah,
Mother.
yeah,
So if we get a ship called the Gaze Electric, or if we see any like three dashed blue lines on someone's face,
yeah.
they're talking right to me because I would freak out. I think that would be
Right, yeah,
awesome to see because they're they are a formidable foe. They're right now in what I'm in, the Jedi can't defeat them. There's people trapped in areas that are controlled by them, and
mhm,
the Jedi and the Republic can't get in.
mm,
And they just killed a Jedi on a live hollow for the whole galaxy to see. They
yeah,
basically say, "You can't beat us. This is us. You got to deal with us," type thing.
yeah.
So there's just little things like that.
I can tell I'm
Master,
gonna have to rein you in this this series. This is almost worse than Thrawn because I know about Thrawn. You're gonna start
Ma-
going off on stuff that I don't even know about. I'm just like, "Oh, okay,
we may
cool,
see a
yeah."
live action Master Yaddle with a
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Uh,
Not
I
Yoda,
ha-
though.
no, you beat me to it. Yoda is in Convergence.
What does that mean?
Yoda's Yoda's in the book that's all about the mother in the Night of Sorrow. Yoda was a part of that whole situation. He
I don't
actually
think
went
we're gonna
ahead.
see him in this show, though.
I think it would be an amazing reveal towards the end if we got a young Yoda in a hollow. Like he's
Oh,
off somewhere else.
yeah.
And because the showrunners have said over and over again, Yoda's not in this. I don't buy it until the show's over.
Oh, you
Because
just don't believe it.
no, because you know how awesome that would be? You know how many fans would go nuts if we finally got a young live action Yoda, even if it's just in hollow form, because he's
Yeah,
already Master Yoda here in this at this time frame.
right.
So he's not on. I don't think he's on the council yet, but he's already on his way there.
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the fact that he kept the nameless or the levelers out of the archives on
Mm-hmm.
purpose. Him and another Jedi did it. Like, you know what? And in the mindset of preventing mass hysteria. That's pretty much what their line of
Right.
thought was. If
Like the
we
U.S.
tell them there's
government.
something out there that can kill Jedi with ease,
Right.
they're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
But that's a
Everybody
story.
freak out.
That's a story for another day. I've enjoyed this. Like I said, the pacing issues, a little bit of what I got going on.
Yeah.
We got quite a few of you guys watching. And any thoughts, any comments? Let us know. I love talking about this. It's gonna be hard for me because Shaun doesn't know a whole lot about the High Republic, and quite frankly, you guys already got a taste of me here.
We're
Uh,
both big Star Wars nerds, but yeah, this is a blind spot for me as far as the era. But,
you're not
I think
alone on
that's
that.
no, I'm not, and I think it'll be a good dynamic for the rest of the series because you'll know a bunch of backstory, and I won't, and I'll be able to focus more on like, yes, but is this a good story?
Yeah,
Yes, but is this a good TV show? Well, you'll be like geeking out about like, oh, this character. Oh, they happen to mention this line. Do you hear that line of dialogue where that mentions this thing in this book? I'll be
yeah.
like, no, I don't know. Are we watching a good TV show or not? I'm not sure. Um,
Do you think
but
Master Soul is long for the show?
Ye
See,
yes, I think so. I
you
think
think
because
so?
they already killed off Carrie Ann Moss's character, and I think his introduction was well enough, and he's likable enough where I think he'll be around to the
Only
end of
reason
the
I
show.
ask that is because they say the showrunner said this show does not go well for the Jedi,
Mhm.
and it's not a show about Jedi. Right now, the show is about Jedi. So the
Yeah.
tables have to turn in some manner real quick.
I hope so. Honestly, look, I don't want, 8 episodes of them hunting for this, dark evil presence and, like, that's kind of the whole show. Like, I hope that and to be honest, a lot of the stuff in the trailer and a lot of the stuff that we knew of the show leading up into the premiere was
We've
kind
already
of
got.
already seen in
Mhm.
the first 2 episodes, which is a great sign, that, we have a lot of room to go to, and I wanna see that I felt when this show was announced, and it's about sort of like almost a deep dive look into where the Sith are at during this time period before, what's the state of the galaxy and why did the Sith come about again before we even get Sidious and Vader and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was an idea that was like, oh, that's badass. That's super cool.
We
And
didn't
so
get that in
far,
episode 1 and 2.
no, so far it's been all Jedi, Jedi Temple, which, it's always cool to see, but we've seen a lot of, and I want to explore here because here's the thing: when there's only a handful of Sith, there's one, two, maybe a third that's like a somewhat half apprentice kind of thing.
Yeah.
You really get to learn and know about those characters. One thing I wanted to say earlier is that the other Star Wars shows they have either had one or the other beneficial thing to start them out. Like the Mandalorian, we got to learn about the Mandalorian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a protagonist and he was the protagonist, and we were on an adventure with him. And we got to learn all about this single guy. And of course, there was like Grief Karga and some side characters,
Mhm.
but everybody was introduced very, it flowed very well. It felt very natural. We didn't have to play catch up with dialogue. Like we're just
Yeah.
invested in this singular character, and it branched out from there and it grew very naturally and slowly. Um, and then there's other shows like the Book of Boba or whatever, where it's like, okay, well, we had this character that we've already known what this character is for years and years, and we get to hang our hat on, what this character. Maybe they're doing different things.
Yeah.
Here's Obi-Wan. Of course, we know Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan. We spent so many years with him.
Yeah, right.
Like, and then we don't have to worry about knowing who the heck these characters are. We know and love these characters. Let's just dive into a story they're trying to tell. But this has to do both, where it's like, it has to give us a good story, and it has to give us a whole like, everything's new.
We need to know who's who and everything. Yeah, because
Everything.
even to the books, Master Soul and May and all them are new to
Yeah.
me. They're new characters to me, even though I know the time frame. Yord, all of that's new. So yeah, I can
Yeah.
that. And I think I said it earlier. They're a victim of their own length of episodes and number of
Uh-huh.
episodes.
Yeah.
If they would up it to 10, up it to 12, maybe up the episode runtime, not with credits, up to 45 minutes per, and maybe quicken the pace a little bit, maybe we can get to that point where we were with Mandalorian after the end of season 1. I mean, quite frankly, I mean, I'll be honest, I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I don't yet care about Osha. I
Okay.
don't yet care about May, but
That's what
I
I was
lo
wondering because you've geeked out a lot about the era and the stuff that you know about the High Republic, but I didn't hear you geek out much about, like, what's actually going on in the show.
yeah,
Like,
see,
you know.
I like Soul, I like there's so many. I mean, we're getting a little long in the tooth here, but we're so there's so many things in the show, so many nuggets, so many pieces, so many things that I'm connecting dots out in other places.
Yeah.
I like seeing Coruscant again. Thought that was cool. I love seeing all the new planets that we've been to. I mean, there's been what, 5 new planets? Let me
Yeah.
see one. Yeah, something like that. So all these different places. So they're expanding the universe by giving us new planets. But yeah, I am more wondering and more invested in who this dark side user is.
Yeah.
That is where I am more at, and not so much what happened to Osha and May on Bendock.
I'm holding out hope that this show will progress in a way where we do take a larger deep dive into the Sith side of things. But the showrunner they've described the show as Frozen meets Kill Bill. That's out of the showrunner's
Really?
mouth. It's
Okay. I heard the
Frozen
Kill Bill. I didn't hear the Frozen part.
Frozen meets Kill Bill. Frozen being like sister relationship and Kill Bill being, revenge plot or whatever. I think honestly, I think what we have seen in the first 2 episodes, it's just gonna continue. I think we're gonna be with the Jedi. I think the Sith are gonna still, by the end of the show, be these mysterious characters, and I don't know if by the end of episode 8, if the Acolyte is gonna be what we were all thinking and hoping it would be when we
What
heard
is
it announced.
Are we supposed to believe that May is the Acolyte? Because the Acolyte, what was the quote that the guy said at the same? An Acolyte kills without a weapon. An Acolyte kills a dream.
Yeah.
Are they trying to kill the dream of the Jedi? Because if that's the case, the guy behind the mask isn't Plagueis. Because the
Right.
first time I heard
Yeah.
the voice told me the leader of the Nile. The Nile is Martian Rowe.
Yeah.
And he is the one that, he keeps on referring to the Jedi and the Republic as a dream. So when
Okay.
those words came and the voice, the actual synthesized voice
Mhm.
and the mask on, it doesn't come across as an eye on his mask.
It never gave me, Plagueis vibes. His body type, and Plagueis always seemed more like a Dooku kind of Sith to me, where it was just, like, in the upper echelon and didn't need to hide his face kinda thing. This feels like a totally different character,
If we
and,
find out this is Martian Rowe
yeah.
and he is actually force sensitive as well, because his lineage, a part of his lineage is, that would make me just as happy.
Mm,
Because but then again, they're also kind of showing their hand when it comes to the final phase 3 of the books.
yeah.
That's the one thing, but I mean, they'll be able to iron that out within the books on why he's still in some type of power. But
Right.
that would be cool, because that was the voice that when I heard his voice, the Eye of the Nihil, the leader of the Nihil, uh, Martian. They called him Martian Rowe earlier. Now it's Marchion. I don't know. It's just maybe whoever's narrating the books.
I think you're gonna say Marshawn Lynch.
But that's my thought. If it's him, I'll be as happy to see what that is. But I mean,
Okay.
dude, guys, we went down a lot here. I
In
went down
for
a
a
lot.
penny, in for a pound. We're gonna be here every episode to talk about the Acolyte and how it's hitting us, and, I'm sure Chris will be geeking out about tying things into the books and stuff that he knows. I'm gonna be sitting here like, "Huh?" Um, but I want you all we had a group of people watching us live, and we certainly thank you for that. We are interactive. Like, whatever platform you're watching us on, drop us a comment. We're not one of those shows where there's a paywall or whatever. Every comment that comes up, we try to bring up, and we try to interact with y'all. A little late now, guys, because 'cause we're ending the show. But next time, be sure to, talk to us while we're here live. And if you're watching us after the fact, drop a comment anyway, because like
Yeah.
Chris said earlier, he always hops on there and interacts with people through the comments section.
So yeah,
Um,
make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you know when we're going to go live because we're going to try
yeah.
to do it Thursday nights every week throughout the time. Now we are fathers, dad and rock, so
Yeah.
sometimes family things do arise. So you got to be a little
Is
bit
it
of
always gonna
flexible with
premiere
us.
Tuesday nights?
Oh, I I'm
Was that
making
or
an
was that especially for
assumption,
the premiere?
yes,
I think
but
so, right?
yeah, probably 9 o'clock on Tuesdays, and then
Yeah.
the actual day would be Wednesday.
Yeah, so we're giving you guys a good amount of time to kinda watch it, and, if you're busy too and you don't watch stuff into the weekend, we'll be there for you then too. Just watch the replay.
Okay, and until we see you next Thursday, I know my camera froze. Hopefully, you can hear me.
Okay. Yeah. Until then, what? May the force
I
be with
I
you.
was gonna say we are the Republic. Well, oh man,
What?
I done jacked it up. Catch you guys later.
See ya.